watching Oklahoma's News 4 Extra Edition.
And we are beginning with some breaking news. Now, moments ago, the City Council voted to approve a measure that mandates masks in Oklahoma City. The mandate passed by a vote of 7-2 and goes into effect immediately. This means masks will be mandatory in indoor public places. It will expire September 8th unless City Council takes further action. We're going to have much more for you about this tonight at 9 and at 10. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Lacey Lett, in for Jolene. Tonight, a surge in coronavirus cases, both here in our state and nationwide. Now, here in Oklahoma, the State Health Department is reporting nearly 700 new cases of the virus. Within the past couple of hours, we've learned 57 less Oklahomans are in the hospital. That total is now around 547. Sadly, 7 more people have died. Our state's death toll sits at 445. Our thoughts are with their families.
We have a lot of tools to protect ourselves against COVID-19, including washing your hands and social distancing. And now many Oklahomans are adding a mask to that arsenal.
See a lot of masks out there these days. How can you make sure, though, the mask you're wearing is actually protecting you from the virus? Lacey Lett is in the studio this morning with more on the best way to wear a mask. Hey, Lacey.
Hey, I learned a lot yesterday doing my story. The CDC now recommending everyone wear a non-medical cloth mask in public places where social distancing is difficult, like, of course, the grocery store. This isn't to necessarily protect the person who wears it, but it's to reduce spreading it to others. And studies show a large group of people without symptoms are contagious. So I actually have one of these accordion masks that you can sew and make. But if you don't have that, if you're not somebody like me who's not a seamstress at all, you can use a bandana. You can also use a washcloth or even a t-shirt. And I'm going to show you how to do it here. So basically you fold it in half from the bottom up. You fold it up to bottom. Then you fold it again from the bottom and then from the top. You grab 2 hair ties. You just pull it through here, probably about a third of the way through. You do it the other side right here. And then you fold it again. We're trying to get as much protection as possible over your mouth and your nose. And then there you have it. So you just put this, let me go down here. You put this around your ears and you are covered. Very important when you take it off is you want to try to take it off from those rubber bands out. And when you're done, go ahead and use some hand sanitizer, making sure that you are disinfected after wearing that mask. So that's just one of the many ways, of course, that we can prevent spreading coronavirus. Kent, Ellie.
Well, we've been hearing the term new normal for a while, and that new normal could last well into next year. Experts say we may have to wear masks for another year or 2 to stop the spread of COVID-19. Dr. Dale Bratzler at OU Med says that lower case numbers point to the fact that mask policies are working. He also says mask mandates shouldn't expire too soon.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was not offered COVID-19 tests from the World Health Organization. According to a WHO spokesman, the issue wasn't even discussed. That spokesman says the United States rarely relies on the organization for testing materials because it usually has the capacity to develop its own diagnostics. Last month, the CDC said it was going to start shipping the kits out to the U.S. public health laboratories. That came one day before the WHO sent 250,000 test kits to dozens of labs to other parts of the world. However, some of the kits that were sent by the CDC were faulty, and then they had to be remanufactured. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no reason to worry about empty shelves at grocery stores. They insist there are no nationwide food shortages. FDA commissioner says that the Americans should only buy enough food to last a week, though. The agency says low supplies on certain items will be restocked soon. Of course, we've seen toilet paper off the shelves. To help, the FDA is relaxing some verification and audit requirements for suppliers to make sure that their products are safe. Regulators have also lifted some restrictions on the trucking industry to keep the merchandise moving. Look at that. Well, it is 5:12 right now. We need to get a check of your forecast for your Wednesday. Emily Sutton has got that. Good morning.
Time now to take a look at what everyone's talking about this morning. Lacey Lett standing in for Lauren Daniels today. Good morning.
Good morning. I was only talking about this with my husband last night. So at the peak, it was 3-point shots and 3-piece suits. The Thunder turning heads before the game. Did you guys see what they were wearing as they walked into the stadium? Each player wore a flashy new suit. They looked so dapper. This is courtesy of Chris Paul. who brought in a personal tailor. Each player was sized up for a custom-fitted suit and showed them off before last night's game with the Grizzlies. Even Steven Adams, who never wears a suit, was dressed up last night. Look at him. Before the game, he told reporters he hasn't worn a suit since 2016 when Westbrook was inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. Yeah, I like the hat move there. And even then, he says that suit had a huge rip in the pants. So this is the first time he's really worn a suit in a long, long time. One fan had a simple request afterwards, as you can see right here. Hey, CP3, I'm graduating this year and could use a suit to go on job interviews. Help me out.
Help a brother out?
That's right.
We'll see. He may. How generous of him. A personal tailor.
A viral video coming from right here on News 4 features a young boy looking for a home on A Place to Call Home, our series. Jordan's story aired Tuesday night at 6 and has now been viewed more than 2 million times. Here's an update on the effort to find Jordan a home.
I hope one of y'all pick me.
Jordan's story reached the entire country, with hundreds of people reaching out to News 4 asking about Jordan. People from New Jersey, Florida, Illinois, and Kentucky, to name a few. This 9-year-old's desire to find a family reached the masses in just a couple of days.
I would like this to have a family. Yeah. To call mom and dad, or this mom, or this dad. I don't really care.
Jordan's permanency planning worker has a lot of work ahead of him, with over 5,000 submissions already.
I'm in the process of reading through those profiles to select a family to try to move forward with.
Jordan's journey has been difficult. He's been in foster care 6 years and has moved around countless times.
We've had a couple of families that expressed interest in adoption, but after we did disclosures, the families decided that it wasn't the right fit for them and their families at this time. So, yeah, we've had some difficulty finding placement for them.
It's a similar situation for all of the children featured on KFOR's weekly series A Place to Call Home. Children who have some form of special physical or behavioral health needs, so often because of the trauma they've endured. It's no different for Jordan.
Even for a child that's in custody, he's been through a whole lot compared to most of our kids.
Many people were heartbroken to see Jordan's brother Brazen was adopted last year, but without Jordan. Christopher says they're hoping to reconnect the siblings.
His brother's adoptive family has been agreeable to that, and even if things go well, they've said that they would be willing to take him out on day passes so that they could spend some real time, good quality time with each other.
Christopher says he's recruiting help from other staff to look through families' profiles and hopes this time around Jordan will finally find his place to call home.
And I'm real excited about this and very hopeful that this is going to be the breakthrough that we needed to find this kid a home.
I sure hope so too. Everybody's rooting for you, Jordan. And a reminder, there are more than 7,000 Oklahoma children in foster care right now. Around 500 of those are ready for adoption. DHS says they really need foster families right now that can take care of older children, sibling groups, and children with special needs. For more information on fostering or adopting, visit KFOR.com. There's not a lot of life out here along the Canadian River, making it a perfect place to go fishing. But on April 18, 1980, two fishermen made a shocking discovery. The lifeless body of a woman, nude and covered in a white substance, shot 3 times in the chest, her body dumped in this rural Oklahoma landscape.
It was apparent that efforts had been made to accelerate the decomposition of her body by covering it with lime.
But that lime only helped mummify her body. The official police record identified her only as Jane Doe, her only identifying feature, a heart tattoo on her chest. Behind the scenes, detectives eventually started calling her by a different name.
Over the years, she became known as the Lime Lady.
The crime scene shows she was killed somewhere else and dragged to the riverbank. Her final resting place, an unmarked plot at an Oklahoma City cemetery. Oklahoma County investigators Bob Green and Kathy Foote took on the mystery 12 years ago.
Jane Doe was the only unidentified victim in the county. The first step in finding her killer, finding out who she was. On Thursday, nonprofit DNA Doe Project announced they were able to solve the mystery. All thanks to an old DNA profile from OSBI and new in-depth genealogical testing.
Her DNA went into this database and she had several DNA matches. The highest one was a second cousin once removed. So we built that second cousin's tree.
I believe it was about the 1st of December last year, 2019. I got a call and they said, well, we've got your girl.
Or at least a probable candidate, a young woman who had lived in Las Vegas. But to be 100% sure, the investigators would have to compare DNA to a relative or medical records.
Through the course of my investigation, it took me to Las Vegas, where I discovered she had been in the Army.
The military produced her dental x-rays and then a call Christmas Eve.
Her name is Tamara Lee Tegard.
I figured we weren't going to give up until we got one, but it was really nice to finally have a name for the face.
Tamara lived in Las Vegas at the time. She went for a walk and never came home.
There was a missing persons report filed in March of 1980. And she was found here, 4 weeks later.
But Tamara's case is bittersweet. There will be no closure for her family. Her mother, father, and sister have already passed away. Her mom's obituary reads that she is survived by Tamara, proof they never lost hope.
Now, by letting people know who she was, we can help restore the dignity to this young woman by giving her her name back.
A 40-year mystery solved, closing the file on the Lion Lady's identity. And now a new beginning into finding the killer of Tamara Lee Tegard. Lacey Lett, Oklahoma's News 4.